Welcome back, or if you're new here, hello, my name is Katie, and today I'm going to be reacting to episodes 735 and 736 of One Piece. And we are now kind of in the wrap-up of Dressrosa. We only have like a handful of episodes left, and usually at the end of a One Piece arc, some crazy shit happens. There's usually some like big lore reveals or something crazy happens to set us up for the next arc. So I'm very curious to see how this arc actually wraps up and like what happens, because we still have a few loose ends, you know. Dofi has been defeated. However, I want to see what happens with Dressrosa as a kingdom, what happens with King Riku, if he's really going to step down from the throne, you know, like technically, or if he'll, you know, go back into the throne, or if someone else will. And I'm also very curious to see how the people will react in like rebuilding Dressrosa. There's also Fujitora and what he's gonna do with regards to not only Dofi, but the Straw Hats and Law. You know, he did help in the ultimate takedown of Dofi. However, he still has his job. He still has his sense of justice. So I'm very, very curious to see what he does as this arc wraps up. So before we get into it, if you want to see more content from me, don't forget to subscribe. You can also join my Patreon if you want to see fully uncut early access reactions to One Piece and everything else I'm currently reacting to. It's $3 a month over there, and I really appreciate the support. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into episode 735 of One Piece. Cutie. He's not gonna give this up. What shit is he gonna start spewing? I knew he was gonna go on talk about Ace. Excuse me? Fuck's sake. Oh, the Dragon Claw grip. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Oh. Oh. You're such a bastard. He's gonna try. Oh my god, stop it. Oh my, don't fall for it. Don't fall for it, Sabo. He's trying. What a bastard. Punch his face. Yes. What a pathetic little man, honestly. Get out of here. Like he can feel Ace's spirit through the fruit. The scene he's walking away from. He's so funny. I love their dynamic so much. It's so funny. We're gonna arrest them all, aren't we? We're gonna arrest all the Don Quixote family. Oh shit. The fucking size of him. Dear Lord. Is she gonna get arrested too? Like, what's gonna happen to Baby 5? Aww. Oh no, he actually cares about her. That's actually quite cute. I want to know, like, what happens with them. Oh boy. I wish we could see his eyes. I wonder why that is. With Dofi's Jolly Roger having like a line through the eye, I've always thought maybe he has something wrong with like one of his eyes, and like he could have maybe got that in that like incident, you know, when him and his father and Rosinante were hung out the fucking windows. But he wore sunglasses as a child before that, and I wonder if there's any theories out there about why Dofi's eyes are covered. Like, is it just an aesthetic choice? Or is it like, you know, because my thinking was like, maybe he was born with something wrong with the one eye that's crossed out in his Jolly Roger. And he's always covered it because maybe the celestial dragon kind of like culture could have seen that as like not perfect, godlike, you know, even though the majority of them are ugly. Do you know what I mean? Like, maybe it's something he's been insecure about his whole life because it like took away from something about his ego or something, you know, I don't know. But then to put that in his Jolly Roger is like quite interesting. But then to put it in his Jolly Roger, if it was something that he was insecure about as a celestial dragon, then he was a pirate, and then he puts it in his Jolly Roger, it was like, you know, a little bit of a fuck you. But then wouldn't he just show his eyes after that? So maybe I'm just thinking too much about it, but it's a really fascinating thing because I maybe thought by now that we would have seen his eyes, but yeah, no, we literally have never seen them, and I find that so fascinating. Like, I feel like there has to be a reason for that, right? Like, I don't know, maybe I'm just thinking too much about it. We're doing a broadcast. Oh, what are they gonna say? So curious to know what he's thinking and what his next step is. Because he has to be thinking right now, you know, like listening to all these people and their happiness and stuff. He has to be thinking part of it. The whole reason for that is because of Luffy. So it's very conflicting. It's got to be very conflicting, you know? Obviously, he did his part and the Navy did their part to protect the citizens as much as they can. But ultimately, could anyone have achieved this without Luffy, the Straw Hats? Oh, this is a cute place. You know what? Actually, on that note, I am afraid to call any place in this show cute ever again, because when we first got to Dressrosa, I was like, oh my god, it's so cute. It has like fairy tales, storybook vibes with the toys. That would be so fucking scary. This is the start of the abolishing the warlords push.
おもちゃにされ、言葉をなくしていたんだ。あなたの起こした暴挙もドフラミンゴの手で操られていたに過ぎない。お願いします。
Are they begging him to take the throne again?
いかに誤解が解けようと、私は王に戻れない。いい
え、この国の王はあなたしかいないんです。そうですよ。もう暴力にはうんざり。陸王様。
I feel like it's gonna be passed to Viola or Rebecca, you know? See, because I feel like I understand, like, his trauma is always gonna be at the back of his mind, the PTSD. That's gonna be very hard to deal with as a king. But then there's also, like, while the people know the truth now, there's also going to be a lot of people with PTSD who are going to have that image of him. And I feel like that's something that he could be very aware of. And so him being the king or like the face is like, I don't know. I can understand why that would be tricky.
陸家の思想はいざとなれば脆いもの。それが今回証明されたのだ。
滅んでも構いません。あなたと共に平和を望み、滅ぶのなら戦わない王として戦争を拒んでほしい。そうです。それで国が滅んだ時は。
What if they got to lose at this point? Like, genuinely.
戦う王は耳が痛いよ。
エリザベロ。
皇様、早く王宮へお戻りを。近隣諸国の王様よりデンデムシが鳴りやみません。
なんだと？
俺がいち早く王たちに知らせといた。陸王が復活するぞとな。
Aww. Maybe he will.
戦争をしねえために全人類を睨み殺しそうだったあの頃のお前はどこに行った？みんな待って。
He just lost so much confidence.
帰ってこいよ。奇跡の王、陸ドルド。さようでござんす、陸王殿。
Oh.
ドフラミンゴのこの一件、責任の所在をあんたに引き受けてもらっちゃ困りやす。あの凶悪な海賊を王家七部会という制度のもと、一国の王と認め、この地に君臨させたのは
The world
紛れも
government.
ねえ。世界政府に
Holy. He's saying this on a broadcast, man. That's fucking crazy.
様、王家の皆々様。
Oh my goodness.
政府に代わって深く
On behalf.
詫びを申し上げやす。
They're not gonna like that. I was about to say I love Fujitora's balls, but that sounds like a bit much. But I do, like, genuinely, he's a goated character, honestly. They're scared. Like, they're nervous of what he's just said. That is a big move. Reporters. This is gonna spread around the world so fast. Holy shit.
カゴの中に閉じ込められていた大事件は今ついに世界へと
Oh boy. This is truly like monumental, I fear. Like, this is truly monumental because he's made sure that this has been broadcast. He knows it's going to be reported on straight away. He's apologizing on behalf of the world government, and we know that his his objective is to abolish the warlords, and like that's his objective. I don't think this is something like the world government has told him to do. How are they gonna react to that? Because I feel like they're just not gonna like that, but there's gonna be pressure now. Because this is gonna spread around the world so fast, and like, how are they gonna react? And like, is Fujitora gonna be in trouble for this? But like, I also don't think so. The thing is, though, I don't think that Fujitora is gonna be in any way in danger because of the high position that he holds, and that's why I think that although he has this like really strong sense of justice and, you know, truly is on the right side of doing the right thing, he's also like able to act on that because of his like authority and his status and his power, you know? So it's like how this is gonna impact everything is going to be really interesting to watch unfold. And the thing is as well is that like I just find Fujitora's entire position through this whole arc to be very, very interesting because he is a very powerful, like, obviously fighter as well. You know, his ability is very powerful, but he really didn't get really involved in anything apart from helping, you know, the cage, and like, you know, he fought Sabo and stuff. There was a couple of things that he did, but ultimately like he left things to the Straw Hats to deal with. And so I think that's very admirable because he knows that the world government and the Navy are at fault, right? Ultimately, for all of this happening, it is because they have this system of the warlords. That's how, you know, Dofi was able to get away with this for so long. And so it would have been very conflicting then for him to say it was their fault and also save them. I don't think it would have pushed the narrative enough that the warlords need to be abolished. Like, because I also wonder, did he sit back and let Luffy and Law deal with this as well? Because, I don't know if this is like a stupid theory, but is it because it also makes the world government look bad? You know, the thing that makes them look bad is the fact that the warlord system exists in the first place. That's how Dofi was able to get away with this. But also, it's like fucking pirates had to save this country from your system that you've put in place. And then he broadcasts it, and then he apologizes. Like, did he sit back because he has his ultimate objective to abolish this system? And this is like majorly backing the world government into a corner because all of these things together just make them look horrendous. Like, people are going to be like, what do you mean? Like, the Navy was there, but like it was pirates that saved the day. Is this making any sense? You know, like, he did in the moment what he could do, right? And I truly believe, like, he tried to help the citizens. The citizens were his first priority. But I do think that he possibly let Luffy and Law, etc. deal with this because it kind of fit what he's trying to achieve in a way. You know? I feel like, oh my god, I should have wrote it down, but I feel like there was a conversation or something pertaining to you know, when he originally wanted to go after Luffy and Law in this, but then he saw what was unfolding. I think he was really sitting back and like observing what was going on and then being like, yeah, so once this is all said and done, saying, like, not only apologizing for the world government and the Navy for their involvement in, you know, Doflamingo's rise to power and being able to keep that power, but also the fact that the people that had to ultimately save them were pirates. And so the whole system, it just shows like the whole system is like fucked. Like, we can't keep doing this, you know? I don't know if that makes any sense, but I feel like that was maybe part of his plan. And then, yeah, I don't know. It's like, it's backing the world government into a corner. Because, you know, when things like this happen, they cover things up. They would be really quick to cover things up, but because of the timing and all of this, like, and him broadcasting it as quickly as possible, very planned, very smart. He knows what he's doing. For an admiral to get on his knees and apologize is a huge deal that I feel like the world government are not gonna like. And so he is using all of these things to pressure them to get his objective, which is abolish the warlords, right? Because people are going to start questioning the warlord system. They're going to start being like, well, if one can do it, when's the other going to do it, you know? And what else can they get away with and all of that. So it's like they're really not going to have much of a choice after this. And that's why I feel like he is so smart and quite goated for that, because it is true. Like that's true justice, you know? Completely going against these people that hold all this power, and he just has these absolute balls of steel where, yes, he's super powerful and he does hold a very high important status, but still going against the world government is pretty ballsy. And so you have to respect him for that. Also, that whole conversation between Sabo and Burgess, oh, that pissed me off so badly. And like him trying to get at why Sabo wasn't in Marineford, obviously we still don't know like where Sabo was or what he was doing, and obviously he found out about the events, but I just would love to know like everything behind the revolutionaries and like what their thoughts on Marineford and everything were. And like, you know, obviously there's probably always going to be part of Sabo where he's like, I wish I was there, but obviously there's reasons why he and the revolutionaries weren't. I just don't think that being part of Marineford, like, strategically would have been in the best interest for the revolutionaries, because their objective is more kind of like overthrowing the government and like liberation, as opposed to an all-out war aiding pirates. Even though Ivankov was involved, it's just, yeah, I just, you know, but again, still, I would love to know, like, if we ever get thoughts on, like, where Sabo was at, what he was thinking. Like, obviously, he was probably in fucking turmoil. His point of view of that, it would be heartbreaking to see, I think, but yeah. Going back again, because I just had another thought with the Fujitora thing, and a prime example that we have seen in this arc of the world government covering stuff up and giving lies is Law's backstory and what happened in his hometown. And like, ultimately, the people that Fujitora is ultimately looking out for are the citizens, the people, the normal people. And that is why I think he is so goated to just immediately, like, I guess, to be able to only reach 3 neighboring countries. I guess that was all they could reach, like, at the moment. But they knew it would, like, get it out there as quickly as possible. That's going to spread around the world ASAP. Very smart. He knows what he's doing. I'm very curious to see where that goes in terms of how the world government is going to react. And yeah, are they gonna abolish the warlord system? And I think it could lead there. You know, for all of this is like, you know, not all of the warlords. There's been Dofi and Crocodile who have done these crazy things with these countries, right? But at the same time, it's like, this system is just too corrupt to exist, because you can never know when another Dofi could come along and do something like this. You know what I mean? It puts too many citizens in danger. If it happens once, it's happened twice. It could happen a third time. It could happen on a worse scale. And so, yeah. And then also it's like, on the other side of that, how now is he going to react to Luffy and Law? Because it's still, he's not just gonna have like this soft spot for like these other pirates. You know, he's for justice and they're still pirates, but like, I feel like there's going to be some semblance of respect, and there has been, between Fujitora and Luffy through this arc. There has been like respect there. However, how far is that going to go? And how is leaving Dressrosa going to go? Because we're all here right now, and like, is he really just going to let him leave? I don't know. Okay, I'm rambling. Let's just get into the next episode and see what happens. Let's see what happens. Episode 736. He freaking means it. Like,
ジトラ。これを世界に見られている。
Nope. It's what he wants.
まさか。
Mm-hmm.
いや、もしや。このためにドフラミンゴに手を。必要なのは事実。戦うこと一切を彼らに任せた。
Yeah. To make it all fit together.
話にした張本人が今さら七部会に刃を向けて、どの面下げて正義を語
What
り
a
ましょうか。
smart man. Holy.
この国は海賊によってまた戦士市民の手によって
What a fucking guy, honestly. Holy shit.
みんなに麦わらがここにいるって教えてあげましょう。
Aw, little sleeping baby.
長く辛い戦いは終わった。
Oh.
君たちは本当に素晴らしい戦士だ。
Yeah, they are.
ハンドフラミンゴ体制、小さな陸王軍。すべての任務は完了した。今日をもって我々は
Why does that make me emotional?
解散する。
Oh, I fucking love them.
ここドレスローザには守り神がいる。それは妖精と呼ばれる小さき者たち、君たちのことだ。
So cute.
小さな陸王軍は解散するが、我々にはまだたくさんの仕事が残っている。あの美しいドレスローザを取り戻すための仕事だ。
Aw.
これからもこの国をよろしく頼む。
Asking them to, respectfully.
一応さん、近隣三島への情報送信。
What a fucking guy, honestly.
ご苦労さ。海軍にも立場がある。戦ってくれた海賊や戦士たちを王宮にかくまうのだ。宿のない者たちも王宮へ。悪いな、頼む。もちろん喜んで、国王様。
Are we hiding Luffy? Oh.
ドフラミンゴ七部会脱退から誤報の一件。あんたらのもっと上からの指示っちゅうことですかい。なぜドフラミンゴごときのために世界が振り回されにはいけんのですか。今後も子飼いなことがあっちゃ、わしが元帥として格好つかんですけ。
Ugh.
生意気な口を聞くな。杯、この案件はサイファーポールに一任したのだ。
サイファーポールか。あえ話が。あんたらも頭飛び越えられたんと違いますか。天竜人の傀儡に。
九山の剣はどうだ。あの巨大な戦力が今や黒ひげに加担していると。
Oh my god.
アホはもう海軍を辞めた男ですけ。どこで何をしちょろうが、わしらには関係ある。
I mean.
おろせ、坂崎元帥。ご報告します。
Oh god.
ドンキホーテッドフラミンゴ、並びにそのファミリーが
Oh god.
ローの海賊同盟に敗れ、ドレスローザは完膚なきまでに崩壊いたしました。
Well,
なんじゃと。
I mean, that's not true. It's still there. You gonna say what Fujitora said?
もう一つ大変
Whoa,
な事態。
whoa, whoa, whoa. I just feel like Akainu has a massive fucking ego as well, which is such a problem.
ドレスローザ隣国三島に流された映像と情報は
Oh, this news spreads so fast.
瞬く間に世界を駆け抜けた。
Yeah, not only like the implications for literally everything we've already talked about, but the weapons trade, the smiles trade, all of his black market dealings. Like, oh, Jesus Christ. The weapons, yeah. Countries having to surrender, countries taking over other countries. Okay, so we can assume that I mean, we don't know for sure, but we can assume that those weren't Kaido's men. So he was really, listen, from a business perspective and all of that, I'm very surprised Kaido didn't have an exclusivity contract with the Smiles. But then even if he did, would Dofi really do that? I don't know. He just wants to fucking destroy the world, so.
ドレスローザで起きた大事件は世界を駆け巡り最悪の世代たちにも伝わった。
Bonnie! She's so cute. Oh my god, that pizza looks so good. I don't know. Am I stupid? Was it already explained? Can Bonnie change her age? Sometimes she's looked like an adult, and then I remember when they were in Shibondi and Zoro called her a child. And then obviously, or does she change her size? I don't know if that was ever explained. I do apologize if it was. Oh.
バカを言え。ここは空島。しかも廃墟となった雲のこと。我々の他に誰が。
Hello?
あっという間に先手を打たれたな。これは大金星だ。ドフラミンゴは確か裏でカイドウに通じて。狙いが被らなくてよかった。
Their target is different.
無駄な戦力を使わずに済む。俺たちの標的は4校。赤髪のシャンクスだからな。
No!
そしてかつてカイドウの縄張りで戦いを挑んだドレークは。
親父を殺された？ドフラミンゴにか。
Oh, that was his dad?
昔の話だ。
Oh my goodness.
一大事だ。早く知らせねえと打ち切れるぞあの人。
カイドウだな。どこですか？ジョーカーのバカがしくじりやがった。スマイルはもう手に入らねえ。
海軍隊長が手落ちを認めることの意味がわからんわけでもあるまい。なぜ本部にまず報告せなんだ。報告したらまたそっちで内容の違うニュースに変わりはしやすいか。あ？なんだと？
What a ballsy man. Holy. Because that's what he did with, or that's what happened with, I don't know, Smoker?
2年前俺はクロコダイルの化けの皮が剥がれた現場にいたんだ。俺たち海軍は何もできなかった。麦わらの一味がいなかったら、アラバスタは今のドレスローザのように海賊の。
He really listened to that story and was like, that's why. Oh, that makes so much more sense. That makes so much sense. Yeah, because even if Fujitora had stepped in, done anything, they would have done the same thing that they did to Smoker. Or like that they did for Alabasta in general. They would have said it was the Navy's achievement. And so then like Fujitora apologizing and all that just wouldn't have made any sense, really. It wouldn't have been as powerful. Oh my god, he really listened to this story and was like, I know what I need to do. Oh my god. And he does have the higher status. He's got to be really happy about that, I think.
2年前のアラバスタ王国での悔しさを思い出します。あの時も麦わらたちの功績をもみ消されて、まるで仇を取ってくれたみたい。
同じ地位を得てもこんな真似、俺にはできねえな。目が空いたよ。
マフィンありますよ。コーヒー入れます？
腹じゃねえよ、バカ。
Aww. The kids! Oh. Oh, brother. This guy stinks.
世界の均衡のためにと海賊を雇ったのは我々の上司、世界政府じゃありやせんか。海軍本部の信頼と威厳の問題なんじゃ。踊れの身勝手で 正義の面目丸つ
Are
ぶれだろ
you
うが
fucking
潰れて
serious?
困るつらんだろ懐にでもしまっときなさいよ不備を認めたくらいで地に落ちる信頼などもともとネーム同じだ
Tell him, tell him. Oh my god, I have so much respect for this man.
落とし前つけてきちゃれよ藤虎麦わらロー二人の
Their heads?
全海軍基地の敷居はまたがせんぞ望むところでございます
Oh. What do you mean that's what you wanted? I think it's really interesting that the five elders were saying that they left this up to CP0 with like the false news and everything. That bit is interesting to me because I'm like, I don't know. I feel like why would they do that? Do they know more than what they're letting on? Because like Akainu is saying to them, why does the world have to be thrown into confusion for Doflamingo? Like, Dofi knows about this national treasure. He knows all about it. He's able to, like, pull some strings, no pun intended, because of that. So, I feel like in the eyes, in front of Akainu, like, I feel like they know more. They know more than they're letting on. I feel like. And then they're shifting away from that to saying, what about Kuzan, right? That's what they said. I think that conversation was very interesting. Like, they know more than they're letting on to him. And I feel like I could be completely off base with this, but what I'm getting from it is that he doesn't know everything and he's just confused. And very clearly the Navy are their public face. They do what they're told. And he has the balls to come in and question that, but he's not getting any answers. And then he's kind of distracted by his ego because he's like, if something like this ever happens again, it'll bring shame on me as a fleet admiral. Which, like, is ego, but also, like, threatens his position. Threatens his authority and his power. I don't know. I found that scene very interesting. Maybe I'm interpreting that completely wrong, but it's just, like, the way that they shifted that conversation was just very interesting to me. Because they just didn't really... they just didn't really say anything about it. It was like, we left this case entirely up to Cypherpole. Okay. What do you mean? Like, you people have also been walked over by the Celestial Dragon's puppets. It's like, don't give us that cheek. Like, they're not really saying anything. They're not really giving anything away. And this, like, national treasure that Dofi mentioned to Law has not been mentioned again. So it's like, I don't know. I think that conversation was very interesting. And then obviously we have the confirmation there that Kuzan is now with Blackbeard. You know, I think it's interesting that, like, back on Punk Hazard, Kuzan said that he is still the same guy. And he does believe in justice, as we have seen throughout the show. And obviously left the Navy and everything because, you know, with Akainu, after Marineford and Akainu becoming Fleet Admiral and everything, implies that he's, like, completely disillusioned with it, but still believes in a form of justice. But I think it's very interesting that he then joins the Blackbeard Pirates. Of all pirates, it's like, what is that about? You know what I mean? I don't know. I figured that from the phone conversation that was had between Burgess and Blackbeard, because they mentioned him, right? They were, like, talking about, oh, what's the difference between him and the jail manager guy? But what's he thinking? Like, what is he thinking? I don't know. I just would love to be inside his brain and figure out, like, where his justices in joining pirates that are devil fruit hunters, and like what their goal, like what their goal is. Like, do their goals align? Like, what, you know? I don't know. That's confusing. That is confusing. One of the things that I love so much about end of arc One Piece is the amount of shit to dissect in like a single episode. Like, there's so much stuff. We catch up with like everyone that we haven't seen in a really, really long time, and like I feel like I have to go back and like look at some things. Already, to me, this was looking beastly, right? And my immediate thought was, is that Kaido? Right? Because I don't know, like the immediate thought looks like a beast. Then when we go here, where Drake is like at his fucking base or whatever, it says, Kaido, where are you? Shaped exactly the same way. We know that he's in Kaido's territory. That base has to be Kaido's. You're telling me that that's not shaped like what we saw like 2 minutes ago to give that away, that that is Kaido? He's like, where is he? Oh, he's in the sky. Why is he specifically coming for him? Like, he looks mad. He's stomping up to this guy. He's in the sky. He's mad. And then they have some nerve, the Pirate Alliance. This looks like Big Mom's ship. I think this is, yeah, this is Big Mom's ship, because there's the flag, the Jolly Roger. Oh, and it says Big Mom, right? He's saying, looks like my friends are kicking butt. Is he aligned with Big Mom? Oh my god. We have like those bunch of like the Killer Kid, Hawkins, and that other guy who are aligned going after Shanks. This guy possibly aligned with Big Mom. And then Law and Luffy. Bonnie's like, oh, Law and Luffy are cool. Drake is like with Kaido, and fucking this guy is in the sky, and Kaido wants to fucking talk to him by the looks of things. That is so much information to take in. I don't even know what to think of that. I'm like entirely convinced that that person, that big beast, is Kaido. That was like my immediate thought, because it just looked so beastly, and then the coincidence of it looking exactly like the base. I mean, come on. Come on, if that's not a dead giveaway, and it's saying, where is Kaido and stuff, and like the only worst generation that we haven't seen aligned with someone happens to be on his own, and Kaido is coming for him. Like, what is that all about? I don't know. There's a lot to take in. Like, this is really crazy. And I love to have seen how Fujitora's entire thing came together, you know, listening to Smoker, and acting of his own accord entirely through this whole thing. Like, what a fucking guy. But like, what's he gonna do now with Luffy and Law? I'm scared. Oh, I love these end of arc episodes. I really do. Like, there's so much to dissect and look at, and I swear if you blink and miss one frame, like, you've missed something important. So I mean, hopefully I've went over everything that I possibly could. I hope you enjoyed my reaction to these episodes. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you want to see more content from me, don't forget to subscribe. You can also join my Patreon if you want to. But yeah, in the meantime, take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye. A huge, huge thank you to all of my Patreon members whose support really, really helps my channel, and especially my highest tier members who are all on screen right now. I appreciate your support so much, and it really helps me continue doing what I love, which is sharing my reactions with you. So thank you so much.